Hey everyone, welcome to part 3 of my full stack development series. In the previous video, we covered both frontend and backend. Now, in this part, we'll focus on Alembic and how it helps us manage database changes effectively. So, what is Alembic basically? So, it's a database migration tool used along with the SQLAlchemy. It helps us manage changes in our database schema like adding, updating, or deleting tables and columns without doing everything manually. So, to get started, we will install Alembic using pip install Alembic, and once it is installed we will initialize it in our project using Alembic init Alembic. Now this command creates the required folder structure for the Alembic. Now you will notice a version folder. This is where all the migration files will be stored, and there's also an env.py file which contains the configuration related to the SQLAlchemy and connects Alembic with our application. Now next, we need to configure our database connection. So by default, Alembic provides a placeholder connection string in the configuration alembic.ini file, which you can see over here. Now we replace that with our actual database connection. In my case, I'm using PostgreSQL, but you can use the database you prefer. Now, now the main purpose of using Alembic is to avoid making manual changes directly in the database. Instead of going into the database and adding columns or modifying tables ourselves, we define changes in our SQLAlchemy model and Alembic handles the rest. Now, for example, let's say I want to add a new column called author into the existing table. I'll first update my model by adding the author field. Then I'll run the migration command, that is Alembic revision auto generate -m, and we'll put the message like how we put the commit message. So this command base automatically generates a migration file based on the changes we made in the model. Now you'll notice here the message add author column is similar to the git commit message. It helps track what changes we made. Now to apply the changes to apply the changes to the database, we'll run Alembic upgrade head. So this command updates the database and adds a new author column to the existing table. Now all these migration files are stored inside the version folder. So these files acts like a history of our database schema, keeping track of every changes, whether it's adding, modifying, or deleting something. So essentially, Alembic help us maintain a complete evolution of our database over time. Now, moving ahead to the Docker setup. So this is our composed YML file which contains all the configuration needed to build and run our application using Docker. Now it defines services, build steps, ports, and other container related setting. Now once we run Docker, our container is up and running, and we can access the API UI through Swagger. Okay, which we have already seen in the previous video itself and we'll be seeing. And to check the container status, we use docker ps command. Now this command shows up all the currently running containers. If you want to see both currently running and stopped container, you can use the command docker ps-a. Now next, we create a repository on the Docker Hub. So Docker Hub is used to store and share the Docker images. Once we build our image, we can push it to the Docker Hub and pull it from anywhere we want. Now, in real world production environment, instead of Docker Hub, we often use services like Amazon ECR, that is Elastic Container Registry, for better scalability and security.